Inspired by David Bowie and Roxy music, as well as post-punk and disco, schoolmates Nick Rhodes and John Taylor formed Duran Duran in 1978 with their friends Simon LeBon and Stephen Duffy. Taking their name from a character in Roger Vadim's psychedelic sci-fi film Barbarella, the group began playing gigs in the Birmingham club Barbarella, supported by a drum machine. Within a year, Duffy and Colley both left the group. Duffy would later form the Lilac Time and were replaced by former TVI vocalist Andy Wickett and drummer Roger Taylor. After recording a demo, John Taylor switched to bass and guitarist Alan Curtis joined the band, only to leave within a matter of months. The group placed an ad in Melody Maker, which drew the attention of Andy Taylor, who became their guitarist. However, Duran Duran were still having trouble finding a vocalist. Following Wickett's departure in 1979, a pair of singers passed through the group before Simon LeBon, a former member of the punk band Dog Days and a drama student at Birmingham University, joined in early 1980. By the end of 1980, Duran Duran had become popular within the burgeoning new romantic circuit in England and had secured a record contract with EMI. Planet Earth, the band's first single, quickly rose to number 12 upon its spring 1981 release. Immediately, Duran Duran became the leaders of the new romantic movement, and media sensations in the British music and mainstream press. The group's popularity increased through its cutting-edge music videos, especially the bizarre, racy clip for Girls on Film. Although the BBC banned the Godley Creme directed video, the single became the group's first top 10 hit, setting the stage for the fall release of its eponymous debut album. Duran Duran reached number 3 upon its release and stayed in the charts for 118 weeks. The band quickly followed the album with Rio in the spring of 1982. Rio entered the charts at number 2, and its singles Hungry Like the Wolf and Save a Prayer became top 10 hits. By the November release of the remix EP Carnival, the band members were superstars in Europe, but only just beginning to make headway in America. Their exposure in the US was helped greatly by the emergence of MTV, which put the group's stylish videos into heavy rotation. MTV's constant playing of the videos paid off, and Hungry Like the Wolf became a top 10 hit early in 1983. Rio followed that single into the top 10, eventually selling over 2 million copies. Duran Duran mania was in full swing across America, with Is There Something I Should Know reaching the top 10. It became the group's first English number 1 that summer and the group's first album climbing its way to number 10. Duran Duran capitalized on their popularity by releasing 7 and the Ragged Tiger in time for 1983's holiday season. The record hit number 1 in the UK and number 8 in the US, spawning the hit singles Union of the Snake and the Reflex, their first number 1 US hit and their second British chart topper. The band took an extended break after completing its year-and-a-half-long international tour in the spring of 1984. In November, the group released the non-LP single Wild Boys, which reached number 2 in the UK and the US, where it was added to the live album Arena. By 1985, Duran Duran fever was beginning to cool off, and after completing the title track for the James Bond film A View to a Kill, the group went on hiatus. Andy and John Taylor formed the supergroup The Power Station with vocalist Robert Palmer and former Chic drummer Tony Thompson in January, releasing their eponymous debut album in the spring. It spawned the top 10 singles Some Like It Hot and Get It On Bang a Gong. The remaining members of Duran Duran, Nick Rhodes, Simon LeBon, and Roger Taylor responded with their own side project Arcadia, releasing an album called So Red the Rose in the fall of 1985. The album launched the top 10 hit Election Day. Early in 1986, Roger Taylor announced he was taking a year-long sabbatical from the group. He never returned. Several months later, Andy Taylor also left, reducing Duran Duran to a trio. Late in 1986, the band released Notorious, its first album in nearly 3 years. While it was relatively successful, going platinum in the US and generating a top 10 hit with the title track, it was noticeably less popular than their earlier records. For the remainder of the decade, Duran Duran's popularity continued to decline, with 1988's Big Thing producing I Don't Want Your Love, their last top 10 single for 5 years. The Greatest Hits album Decade was released late in 1989, followed several months later by Liberty, the first Duran Duran album to fail to go gold. By that point, former Missing Persons guitarist Warren Cucurullo had become a permanent member of the group. In 1993, the band returned from a prolonged hiatus with Duran Duran, a mature, layered record of light funk and soulful adult contemporary pop that became a surprise hit. Ordinary World and Come Undone became top 10 hits in America and the UK as well. The album itself climbed into the top 10 on both continents and went platinum in America. Not only did the record restore their commercial status, but it earned them some of their best reviews of their career. The group followed the album with one of its poorest received efforts, 1995's All Covers Thank You, which managed to go gold in America despite negative reviews. While Duran Duran were recording the follow-up to Thank You in 1996, John Taylor left the band to pursue a solo career, leaving the group a trio of LeBon, Rhodes, and Cucurullo. That follow-up, Metazound, was released in 1997 but failed to produce any major hits. Released in 2000, Pop Trash suffered a similar fate. In March 2001, the three Taylors Andy, John, and Roger met up in Wales and worked with each other for 3 weeks. Around this time, rumors of a 5-member reunion began to circulate. 2 months after Rhodes and LeBon denied the rumors, the reunion was confirmed. Duran Duran recorded on and off for a new album over the next 3 years and also toured sporadically. After signing with Epic, they released Astronaut in October 2004. Red Carpet Massacre, produced by Timbaland and without Andy Taylor, followed in 2007. In 2011, Duran Duran delivered their 13th studio album. The Mark Ronson-produced All You Need Is Now. It was greeted with positive reviews and debuted at 11 on the UK charts and 29 in the US. Duran Duran began recording for their 14th album in 2013 and worked on it over the next 2 years. When it finally materialized in September 2015, Paper Gods bore tracks produced by both Mark Ronson and Nile Rodgers, alongside additional contributions in this area from Mr. Hudson and the band's engineer of choice Josh Blair. The album also included vocals from Janelle Monáe, Kaiza, and Muse Jonas Bier, as well as guitar from former Red Hot Chili Pepper John Frusciante. The record was their first to be issued through Warner Brothers, and its release date coincided with a headline slot at Rob Dawbank's Bestival event on the Isle of Wight. Duran Duran supported Paper Gods with an extensive tour, then turned their attention to recording its sequel in 2019. The COVID-19 pandemic delayed the release of the ensuing Future Past until October 2021. Largely produced by DJ Errol Alkan and featuring Blur's Graham Coxon on guitar, Future Past was their first record for BMG. It hit number 3 on the UK Albums Chart and cracked the top 30 of the Billboard 200.